Hi there, and welcome back to another session on writing effective business email. Today, we are going on a journey to see how to become a professional email communicator. Before we dive into the session, let's start with a question. Have you ever been misunderstood? Or have you ever thought why you haven't received a response on your email? The answers to these questions lies in this session. In today's digital world, inboxes have turned into out of control monsters. People are increasingly being attacked with unwanted messages, and they are itching about hitting the delete key when faced with unprofessional emails. Often, you have only a few seconds to make a good impression. And also, due to the quick nature of sending emails, our emails end up being disrespectful, aggressive, and incomplete. If you or your colleague are not sensitive on the emails that you're sending, then the following could occur. There can be miscommunication, there can be misinterpretation, you could end up losing trust, and you could end up having a bad reputation. If you have watched the movie English Winglish, you could easily understand how Sridevi became a victim of the judgmental habits of her husband and children. It almost made her lose confidence, and there were days when she struggled to face people. Sometimes that damage might be so deep that it can almost impair a person for a lifetime. It's a similar scenario when you start sending emails for the first time to an unknown person. In a virtual environment, the email acts as a building block of your reputation. No one is perfect, and anyone can make a mistake occasionally. But if you make mistakes frequently or have a number of them in any one email, your reputation is likely to suffer. So that's why we are here, to minimize the risk of lack of trust, to increase your understanding around email etiquette, and to make you a better email communicator so that you can send email with confidence. The agenda, as you can see, is structured in a way that we will take you through the professional email writing process from start to finish. We have got some bonus tips for writing emails at the end of the session. Now is the time to step up your game. So let's get started. Foundations are crucial, and a weak foundation means the structure built upon that foundation will fail. Hence, we are going to start with the basics. In the previous session, we have shown you the difference between an informal and a formal email. And this is a continuation to that and will help you to improve your understanding around it. So the first one on the list, as you can see, is name. So while addressing someone in a corporate environment, you can mention Dear Mike, that is his first name, or Dear Mr. Mike, instead of the informal way of Hi or Hello Mike, or by starting addressing by his first name. Moving on, in terms of previous contact, wherein you have received an email and you're going to acknowledge it. So instead of mentioning thanks for your email, you should mention thank you for your email. It is important that you specify the entire sentence, which make you look like a professional. That's the reason we mention thank you instead of thanks. Next one, as you can see, the informal way mentioned is RE your email, which is a short form of regarding your email. So instead of mentioning that, you should mention further to your last email, and then you can continue with the context. Okay, so if you will just mention RE instead of the entire sentence, it will make you look like a lazy person, which you don't want to, right? The next one on the list is sorry, I haven't written in ages, which is a informal way to communicate. So instead of that, you can mention I apologize for the delay in getting back to you. Okay. So the next context is regarding reason for writing. So an informal way is just a short note about. Instead of that, you can mention I'm writing in connection with so and so. You can mention the context. The next informal method mentioned here is I'm writing about. Instead of that, you can mention this is in regards to so and so subject. And the next one is here's the so and so you wanted. Instead of that, you can mention in reply to your email, here are the examples. Okay. And finally, we have the closing section of the email. So instead of mentioning looking forward to, which is a informal and a casual way of writing email, we can mention I am looking forward to. Okay. And instead of saying bye or all the best, you can mention best wishes, or you can mention regards followed by your name. In a corporate culture, there will be times when you would have to negotiate or interrogate more on email. It has its advantages. It saves money and time, allows you to ask questions that might be difficult in an in-person conversation, and sometimes reduces stress because of the time allowed for analyzing and replying back. When writing an email, you should keep in mind the courtesy formula. As and when you write an email in English, you're not only using another language, but you're also entering another culture with different habits. Also, in a virtual environment, you would end up interacting with an international contact who pays a lot of attention to forms of courtesy and gratitude. Therefore, never forget to add them. So the first one on the list we have is asking for information in terms of context. So you could state on your email as in, can you give me more information about so and so? Or you can mention, could you provide some more information about it? The next one on the list we have is request, that is while requesting some information. So you can state on your email as in, would you be able to, or would it be possible to? The next one we have is asking for suggestion. So you can mention what do you think is the best way forward, or you can mention would appreciate your opinion on this. The final one on the list we have in terms of context is next steps. So we can mention, I will get back to you with more details, or you can mention, I will be in touch again next week with more details. It's hardly surprising that a lot of emails get ignored. In fact, it's a wonder we get around to responding to any of them. With all the competition around, it's vital that your business meeting request emails cut through the noise, and here is how to do it. So the first one on the list is in terms of context is suggesting time and place. So an informal or a casual way to request will be, how about this day and at this time. Instead of this, you should mention, could we meet on so and so day in the morning at so and so time. Nowadays there are various video conferencing tools available in the market. So if you are booking a meeting invite within the company, in Outlook you will have the option to look for the person's availability and what time he is available, and you can straight away send a meeting invite on an email. But in scenarios wherein you're booking a time with a person who is out of the organization, in that scenario you will have to request whether you could meet on so and so day and at in the morning and so time. Okay, so the next one we have on the list is saying when you are or not free. So an informal way or casual way will be to respond, I am free Thursday AM. So instead of that, you should mention, I will be able to attend the meeting on Thursday morning. Second one is, I won't be around until after lunch, which is an informal way to respond. Instead of that, you should write, I am out of office until 2 p.m. The next one on the list is while providing confirmation. So an informal way will be to respond, Thursday is good for me. Instead of that, you should mention, I would like to confirm that I will be attending the meeting. The next one is, that should be okay. I will get back to you if there is a problem, which is a informal way to respond. Instead of that, you should mention, that's fine. I will call or email to confirm you the details. And finally, while closing the conversation, an informal way will be to respond, see you in London. So instead of that, you should mention, I look forward to meet you in London. The next one is, give me a call if anything changes, which is an informal and a casual way to respond. Instead of that, you should mention, let me know if you need to change the arrangements. As you learn to write effective workplace emails, you will find that you develop your own writing style. A style is the way you use words to create a certain tone and to give your reader an overall impression. Your writing style reflects upon you and your company, and you should tailor it to your target audience needs and expectation. It's highly recommended that you practice an indirect, polite, or diplomatic writing style. So the first one on the list is in the context of requesting. So a direct way would be, can you, or please could you. Instead of this, you should adopt to an polite way of requesting, stating, could you, or I was wondering if you could. The next one on the list we have in the scenario of asking for permission. wherein the direct way would be can I or could I. Instead of this direct approach, you should use is it alright if I, or I wonder if I could. Okay. The next one on the list we have is offering help. So a direct way would be can I or shall I. Instead of this direct approach, you should reply stating would you like me to, or do you need any help with this, right? So the next one we have on the list is while making suggestions. So a direct way would be what about or shall we. Instead of this, you should adapt to a polite approach, which is by stating why don't we, or perhaps should we. The last one on the list we have is while making a strong comment softer. So a direct way would be to interact stating there's a problem, we can't do that, I disagree, that gives us very little time. So the recommended approach to respond to such scenario would be I am afraid there's a small problem. I am not sure we can do that. To be honest, I think it might be better to do so and so. And the last one is actually that doesn't give us much time. There are some people who are incredibly effective at making complaints. They seem to know instinctively how to pitch their problems, what to say, what to do to get apologies, refunds, or other satisfactory outcomes. And some may feel like ranting helps you to communicate or how unhappy you are, but we should stick to the relevant details, keep our emotions in check and sarcasm in check, or you may run the risk of turning your reader against you. Get the shouting out of your system first, sit down and write. We also need to think from other person's perspective that he or she might be going through a bad day and we don't want to add more problems. Instead, we want to achieve our goal of getting apologies, refunds, etc. So the first one on the list we have while starting to write an email, that is in terms of opening the email, is we can state by saying I'm writing in connection to my order number so and so which arrived this evening, or you can mention I'm writing to draw your attention to the negative attitude of some staff in your customer service section, followed by the complaint section wherein we can mention the order dated on 11 January clearly states that we wanted 100 items. However, there seems to be an error in the invoice or misunderstanding. The product I received was well below the expected standard. The next one on the list we have request for action. So you can mention we must insist on an immediate replacement or refund, or you can mention kindly replace the faulty goods as soon as possible. At the end, while closing the email, you can mention I hope you would deal with this matter promptly as it's causing me considerable inconvenience. In this session, we are going to look at how would you deal with a complaint when received via email. So starting with the opening statement while replying to an email will be I'm writing in relation to your recent complaint. The next one on the list is while apologizing. So you can mention I would like to apologize for the inconvenience caused. The next one on the list is while denying responsibility. So you can mention, we understand that this has caused you considerable inconvenience, but we cannot accept any responsibility in this matter. The next one on the list we have here is promising action. So you can assure your customer by stating, I will certainly look into this issue and get back to you tomorrow. And finally, while closing the email, you can mention, thank you for bringing this matter to my attention. Please accept my assurance that this will not happen again. In this section, we will look at how do you apply for a job opening and how do you write an email while sending your resume to a prospective contact. So starting with greeting, you can start with saying good evening or good morning followed by the name of the addressee. In case you are not aware of the name, you can just mention good evening or good morning based on the timings. Then we have the reason for writing. So you can start with, this is in reference to your advertisement on so and so website. I am interested in applying for the post of so and so, whatever the job title is. The next one is your background and experience. So you can mention, I am 26 years old. I am currently studying for a degree in so and so subject and so at so and so university. For the last 2 months, I have been working as a so and so, whatever your last job title is. The next section will be the job itself. So you can mention on the email body, I am interested in this job because of so and so reason, or you can mention, I feel that I will be well suited for this job, or you can mention, I have a lot of experience in so and so domain. The next section, which is important part while applying for a job application, is referring to your CV. So you can mention, I have attached my CV in Word document. You may have noticed that I have so and so experience as well as experience in so and so domain. You will also notice that I have so and so experience. The next section we have is final comments. You can mention, I will be grateful if you would consider my application, or you can mention, you will see from the CV that I have mentioned two contacts who can be contacted as a reference. One is so and so person and other one is from so and so company. And while finally closing, you can mention, I look forward from hearing from you soon, or you can mention yours faithfully followed by your name. Now for some bonus tips. The first one on the list is set a clear goal for your email. So you should start by deciding what results you want from your email, then write your email with the goal in mind. Your email can't achieve its purpose if you don't know why you're writing it. The next one is to specify a subject line. The subject line is the first thing your reader sees. A poor subject line could get your email deleted or even worse, sent directly to the spam folder. Keep your email subject line concise but be specific. Don't mislead your reader either, or you will leave a bad impression. Even if your reader opens your email, the first few lines could be such a turn off that they stop reading right there. Pay extra attention to the salutation, email greeting, and the opening sentence to make sure your email is effective. For your email to be effective, it is important to follow up. Your follow-up can take two forms: a shorter reminder email to those who did not respond to the first email, answer to any question or other responses you receive because of the first email. If you don't capitalize when you should. I guarantee you will rarely get replies. Not capitalizing the beginning of your sentence simply makes you look lazy. Don't do it. Embrace the shift key. If you are a fresher who has joined the company, I would suggest you have your senior proofread your emails before you hit the send button. Never ever, I mean it, never ever use caps lock in a professional email. No matter how urgent the email is, use the capitals. Use of capitals is often a highly expressive form of communication, detracting from the professionalism of a work email. Plus, in regard to your own image, it comes across as somewhat childish in manner and can have an impact on your organization. Thank you. This brings to end of this session. Please subscribe to this channel as our vision is to support you on your professional journey. If you have liked the content, kindly give us a thumbs up and please feel free to share feedback in comment section.